Happy Friday, Miami. This is Buy, Sell, Hold Miami, a real estate podcast by two locals who are going to cut through the fluff and give you straight talk how locals see what's going on in the market today. My name is Peter Zalewski. I'm a condo converter. I keep saying converter. I'm a condo consultant. I might be a converter one day. We'll see. I'm also an expert witness, and I'm the founder of the Miami Condo Investing Club. Let me go ahead and pass the baton over before I make any other mistakes to my co-host and the moderator of the show, no one else but Daniel Hernandez from Compass Real Estate over in Coconut Grove. He does single-family houses as well as condos. So if you're in the Grove, go reach out to Daniel. Go have coffee. Go over to Monty's and have a drink if it's happy hour, because affordability is really a challenge right now.
It is.
But Daniel knows where the deals are. Hey, Daniel, how's it going? Happy Friday.
What's going on, Peter? I'm jacked up today. I don't know if it's the weather, the art on Miami Beach, or just the general je ne sais quoi in the air. That's French, by the way. I'm very cultured now. I was in Europe. But in any event, do we have a show for the gang today? So if you're just joining us, this is episode 29, folks. We got about, 3 more left in the year, and then we'll be into 2026, episode 29 of Buy, Sell, Hold Miami. And so if you're just joining us for the first time, our show is geared around the rundown. And the rundown is what you see in the bottom left corner of your screen. Peter and I pick 5 topics to talk about. We get about 7 minutes with each one. If we go a little bit over, that's okay, because we got you for an hour. We hope we stick with you the whole time. And if you're probably sitting in traffic trying to beat that Art Basel back to the office or back from the office, well, maybe this should be a 2-hour show today. But we'll stick it to 1 hour. We like to be honest with time. And with that, I want to jump right into it. Speaking of Art Basel, hey, Peter, I took a look at the estimated numbers for economic impact for Art Basel. And it says here, estimated $565 million. And that number is all the art people are going to buy, and then all the hotels people are going to stay at, and the Lamborghinis they're going to rent, or actually those exotic car dealers do not report their revenues, but all in the same. And 565 million. What does that even mean anymore? So
well, that means $188 million a day.
Well, that is right. Well, okay, so I'm glad you said that. What about Super Bowl, which is one day?
Well, what is that supposed to come in over $1 billion? By the way, Art Basel, we're talking $7.8 million an hour. So while you're watching this show, they're making $7.8 million.
Some of these pieces of art sell for $5.5-6 million a pop. And that, by the way, I'm sure you were going to call it out, but I'm going to beat you to it. Number one condo sale in broke records, Seaway by Fort Partners. Nadim Ashi sold pre-construction, the penthouse right next to his Four Seasons development. That Four Seasons Surfside had the record breaker. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was $5,731 a square foot. Is that what it went for? About $38 million bucks?
Yeah,
no. It was $6,731 a square foot. It was almost $7,000 a square foot. Yeah. So this new one at this building he built next door, it's only got a handful of units, 20 or so units, I think. And this penthouse broke the record, $60-something million. It's crazy.
It's a K-shape economy. Those on the top half, they are banking. Those on the bottom half better get in line for food, free food, the soup kitchen.
So the Super Bowl, I just wanted to give people sort of the relative numbers. We have several big events in South Florida throughout the year. Super Bowl, last time we had it, I think, was 2020, according to my half-ass internet research. And that brought in $571 million. But that was pre-COVID. Well over $1 billion today. I mean, you can't afford to go to the Super Bowl unless, what are the nosebleeds costing, Peter?
Oh, it's got to be 5Gs at least.
No, you couldn't pay me to do that. All right, so the Super Bowl and Art Basel, those might sound like crazy numbers, but the real money, it's the boat show. The boat show. So the Miami International Boat Show brought in somewhere between 1 and 1.3 billion this year. The Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, which is which is like the apex globally. Fort Lauderdale Yacht Show it's the yacht show. $1.78 billion of economic impact. Blows my shock. That's a lot. I mean, and these boats are they trade for $5-6 million. Used boats, mind you.
That's why it's good to have a friend who owns a boat. You don't want to own your own boat. You make sure you know somebody who owns a boat.
What do they say? The operating cost on a boat like that's about 10% of the value?
Oh, I'm sure of that. I am 100% sure of that.
Fuel and staff or whatever, what have you.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about Art Basel? I don't know how much everybody knows about it, but basically it's based out of Switzerland. It's an opportunity. It's a marketplace. It's a pop-up marketplace for the whales, if you will, to collect art. And then Daniel, believe it, 2002 is when they brought it to Miami. They were trying to branch out. They went out to Hong Kong. They brought it to Miami. And at the time they announced it, now we're going to start to tie in art to everything else we had going on here. It became a once a year type of annual event that people would fly into. Typically what happens is the opening night, which I think is Thursday because the exhibition opens at the convention center.
No. If you're like Big Poppy VIP, it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, yeah. So you get the VIP.
That's the Big Poppy VIP that we know about. There's probably one on Tuesday.
It's probably on Tuesday. So you roll into town. Everything is set up at the Miami Beach Convention Center and wander around. You pick and choose what you want. And what's happened since then, because this takes place over at the Miami Beach Convention Center, what's happened is we have pop-up events. Back when Midtown Miami was basically just two towers on the east side, they had all this vacant land.
They called it Art Miami, right? Was it
Art Miami? They would put up all these tents. The Miami Herald site, once Genting took it over, they raised the Miami Herald and they were going to build a casino and that never worked and blah, blah, blah. And they put up tents. So when you come into Miami this time of year, you're going to see tents everywhere. And that's for the pop-up for the art. If you come into Miami during the summer, you're going to see blue tarps. That is to cover the leaking roofs because of the hurricane and the rains and everything else. So we always have tents
hurricane
around
season's
here.
over and we didn't get hit.
We did not get hit. 100%. But you know, Daniel, here's my question to you about the economic impact. There's a book called Back to Blood, written by Tom Wolfe, famous American writer, novelist before he ultimately passed. One of his final books was called Back to Blood. It's based on Miami. One of the main characters is a money launderer who's in the art game. There's always been a lot of connection between money laundering and art because
that's a total farce. That doesn't exist.
Because how do you value it? Next to art is racehorses. These are supposedly two of the things that kind of go on there. So every time I think about Art Basel and I think about the art and I think about the valuation, that always tends to cross my mind. I'm always Mr. Positive.
No, I thought for a second we weren't live on YouTube, and I was freaked out because people wait for us on YouTube. Millions and millions of people. We have more crowds than Donald Trump. But it's something else I wanted to bring up. Not a lot of times, if you look at The Real Deal or any of these publications, The Real Deal, which is a real estate publication, they're talking about Art Basel because the output from Art Basel, or sort of the post game, the epilogue next week, people are going to be looking at, hey, how many leads did I get during Art Basel? It's not just an art sales event; it's a massive networking event. Listen, we put this on in December instead of July for a reason, because folks coming from Switzerland come over here, dump their parkas, switch into a bikini, and they can have a really good time here. And then they buy a condo. It's the best mutually beneficial scratch my back scratchers relationship that we have with the art world. And I'm talking about real estate and art, not other things. Get your mind out of the gutter, Pete. So I pulled a few quotes. A few weeks ago, we were talking about Mamdani, and New York Post came out and said, and I'm taking this from the Post, so this is not Daniel speaking, this is New York Post, which is a very respected publication. Miami-based agents are now reporting a 166% spike in luxury property inquiries from NYC buyers. Some brokers are calling it the Mamdani effect. That's on one side. On the other side, Bloomberg, marginally more respected, but that's subjective, I suppose. A separate report came out of Douglas Elliman in New York, found that Manhattan luxury contracts actually jumped 25% in November, with 176 deals at $4 million or more. A surge some brokers said that shows that there is no Mamdani effect. So listen, guys, you're going to see Joe say this and Eddie say this. It's all marketing. At the end of the day, and Peter and I spoke about this a few weeks ago on the pod, very primitive, the reason why people want to move to Miami. Because of what I just said about Switzerland. It's snowing there, as it is in New York and New Jersey and basically anywhere north of Palm Beach. It snows there. It doesn't snow here. No parkas, bikinis. That's it. And there's the tax and pro-business thing. But that's bonus, right? Politics can change. The weather here ain't changing. Maybe except the flooding. Hey, we're not going to.
Listen. Okay, so the winter you shop, the summer you close. They come here for the event. While they're here, they feel like, oh my gosh, I deserve it. This is a great place. Let me go ahead and pick up a condo. These art collectors are also condo collectors. They collect condos. They have a place in different hemispheres. They do kind of whatever they do. I've had some clients, they got a place in Singapore. They got a place in Miami. They got a place here. They got a place there. So that's kind of what happens. So any immediate reaction to transactions is complete BS. Why? Because even if you go forward and you love a place and you go to close, it's going to take you minimum 2 weeks. I don't care if you say you're all cash and I can close tomorrow. You got to get the approval from the association.
Right.
So, there's a process. Most likely.
And by the way, Fisher Island takes like a month to approve you by the association. So even if you want to spend $30 million, the association still has to approve you.
They still have to approve you. So we wouldn't see any kind of transaction for at least 30 days. So all this is promotional. All of this is basically hoopla. It's all put out there. It's meant to build the excitement and, more importantly, the FOMO. But let me tell you the reality. The reality is the first month of the winter buying season in November, comparing it to, and winter goes from effectively November through April. The first month, preliminary data shows sales are down 7% year over year. We are not off to a rocket start.
But what in segment is that? Is that overall market or is that just condos?
Yeah, this is only condos, but this is Tri-County. This is Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County. And what it showed is pricing up 1.5%. So it's flat. What happened? That's price per door. On a price per foot basis, it's down 6%. It's down 6%. So listen, if you're hearing a lot about how great everything is, why are you hearing it? You're hearing it because they need to change the narrative. The reality is that people are sitting on the sidelines. Buyers are sitting on the sidelines. They don't know what's going to happen. We probably have another interest rate cut next week. So that'll be 3 times in September. Mortgage rates haven't changed. It's still sort of challenging. And more importantly, the cost of living in one of these condos. Now, not the new ones per se, but the old ones, it's a cash burn. It's a dramatic cash burn. And then you ask yourself, well, yeah, but if I buy a condo, I'm building equity. Well, if you're buying at the top of the market, how much equity are you going to have? And then the flip side, if you go and rent or get a hotel, it's probably cheaper to get a hotel than it is to actually maintain.
Depends where you're staying.
Well, like if you say like what I like, I'm like dirt cheap. But if you really go over the top,
I saw you at the Four Seasons last weekend. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I was there. I was going through the garbage cans. I was looking to see if any of these billionaires who are in town were doing anything with it.
All right.
So, but I guess what I'm saying is this is just don't get caught up in the FOMO. Do not get caught up in the FOMO. Enjoy.
It's very easy. It's very easy to get caught up in the FOMO. A lot of sexy art, sexy people, sexy food.
It's like WWE. Yeah. This is all WWE. This is the theatrics. This is all about the excitement. Don't get caught up in that. Enjoy it, but look at the numbers. Let the numbers be your anchor as to what the reality is all I would tell people. But enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Go over the top and enjoy yourself.
Art Basel drives Miami crazy. Buy, sell, hold, Pete.
Crazy, yes. Sales, no. So I'm a buy on the promotion. I'm a sell on the actual end result in terms of condo sales.
I ticked you for a buy. Because I know you love it. You love it. All right. Miami-Dade College, Peter, gives its blessing. That I pulled that from a Miami Herald article, and I love the Miami Herald. I do, but sometimes it's like a bastard child, and you have to love it. What is this, a seance? We're talking about Miami-Dade College's revote on the Trump Foundation Presidential Library site that took place on December 2nd, this past Tuesday, at MDC's campus in Hialeah. Why did it take place on MDC's campus in Hialeah? Like, what is that, 10 miles away from the Trump Library site, which is right next to the MDC campus in downtown. I don't know. Maybe they thought nobody was going to show up. Well, lo and behold, were they wrong? About 100 people
Really?
showed up. Oh, yeah. About 100 people showed up, including Dr. Marvin Dunn, our local octogenarian activist. Keep it up, Doc. So for anybody who hasn't been following this, Peter and I have been talking about this for a while because it is very, very, very important, not because of a political ideology, left, right, but because it is a bad real estate deal. And that's what we do on the show. We talk about real estate. So Donald Trump Presidential Library site has been conveyed from Miami-Dade College to state of Florida, and they want to give it to the Trump Presidential Library so that they can build this presidential library and high rise, which I think would be a first for presidential libraries. And they got to find somewhere to put the plane from Qatar, of course. The site is approximately 2.6 acres right next to the Freedom Tower, across the street from, we still call it the AAA, the American Airlines Arena, ever since it's been called the FTX Kaseya Center. It seems like Kaseya's in the dump, so they'll probably change the name again next year. But it's right there on Biscayne Boulevard across the street from the Bay. Eduardo Padron, former president of Miami-Dade College, had purchased this about 20 years ago with the ideas of developing it for the college in the downtown campus area there. Well, a development proposal in 2016 got turned down by the college. And ever since, it's just been sort of like the parking lot. Miami-Dade property appraiser puts the value at $67 million. Miami-Dade property appraiser is wrong, folks. Very wrong. Marvin Dunn, Dr. Marvin Dunn, you're really vocal about this, and you've said the $67 million price tag too. Call Pete and I. We'll explain to you why it's worth way, way more, and why you should be even more pissed off than you are, because you should be pissed. Everybody should be pissed. This is a bad real estate deal. Marvin Dunn sued the college, and there is a trial set in August. So this is huge, because we're kicking the can. This is what we're doing. We're kicking the can. So they re-voted on this on Tuesday. But for what? That's what I want to understand, Pete. Why did they re-vote? Procedural. What, to just CYA? Cover their asses?
Yeah, from what I was reading, it was so what happened the first go around is they just said like real estate. It's kind of like when you look at an agenda, it was very vague. It's kind of like, does anybody have any, a part for open discussion? So they just put real estate in there, and all of a sudden they go ahead and they bring up this Trump library, the idea of transferring over. So for this, and then, so what they got sued for is they didn't follow Freedom of Information Act.
Florida Sunshine
Law. Everything related to transparency. They didn't follow it. So what was being alleged, this is basically a redo. So if in fact they show up to trial, they're going to say to the judge, hey, judge, just in case we did it correctly the first time, but there was a problem. Yeah, we went ahead and we did it a second time, and we gave everybody an opportunity to show up, and 100 people showed up. So therefore, everything is
100 people showed up, but listen to the atypical. You're talking about procedure. Listen to the atypical procedure. Typically, I'm sure you've been to a commission meeting or one of these public hearings. You stand in line and you go up to the lectern and you speak your mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the procedure they followed here. You had to send an email to the college to request to speak. Why would they do that? I don't know. This smells so fishy, and if it quacks and it walks like a duck, it's a duck, and this is.
And so everybody understands the big picture. We always hear about Harvard University. We hear about the Ivy Leagues. We hear about Stanford. We hear about these endowments that these organizations have, these institutions, so which they can do stuff, whether it's research or whatever the policy is. Well, Miami-Dade College, who it serves is effectively those people with the first 2 years before they get to a college, like a university. So a college versus a university. I think they have some 4-year programs, and most of it's 2 years.
No, they do have 4-year programs.
They do have 4-year programs. Okay. Yeah. So before it was Miami-Dade Community College. Now it's just Miami-Dade College. So they must have changed it a little bit. But basically, it is a college to help people locally who need to maybe learn a language, whether you just arrive here and you need to learn English, or maybe you just arrive here and you want to learn Spanish or Portuguese or Creole or anything like that. You can go there. You can pick up your education cheap on language-wise. You can also retrain yourself. AI is spreading throughout. Everybody's worried. Am I going to lose my job? Am I not going to lose stuff? So what are your options? Well, I can try to trek all the way out to Florida International University. It's going to take me an hour and a half to 2 hours to get there each way. Even though as a crow flies, it's close. But on 8th Street, Coyote or the road, it takes forever. Or you can go to Miami-Dade College. They have campuses set up strategically throughout Miami-Dade County, and the tuition is minuscule. My University of Miami might be $100,000. Miami-Dade College is probably $100 a credit hour, just to give you context. So it's there serving a purpose. And what Dr. Patron did is, by making this move and buying dirt, this site, buying it when he did, when nobody wanted that. This is the endowment. This is the backstop. So if they can build on it, or more importantly, they can dump it off. I'm not saying don't sell it. I'm saying give real value. And the real value is $368 million, about $300 million more than apparently what the property appraiser is saying.
Well, by the way, I want to make it really clear to everybody. They're not even buying it for $67 million. They're buying it. They're not buying it. They're getting it given away. Goose eggs, guys. Goose eggs. Yeah, it looks like I'm doing something naughty. But, yeah.
But Daniel, what do they get back in return? Did that come up at the meeting? Was anything mentioned about it?
They don't
right
get
now,
a goddamn thing, Peter.
Nothing. They don't even get a guarantee.
No, they get the ability, and I quote, to turn it in. You know, a library is where people go and do research and they work, and the talking heads of the trustee. I want to make something clear. You're a trustee. You have the trust of the people that you're representing, and you have a responsibility to handle those assets with care. And that's just simply not happening. I don't care about what the economic impact. It's all bullshit, to put lightly. But if they want to sell it, sell it.
Yeah.
Sell it. The Trump family's made what, like $2 billion in crypto? Just buy it from the college if you want it.
Daniel, we ran the numbers based on current resale pricing in Greater Downtown Miami. If you put a spread on it for resales, for premium, for new, you got about a $5.3 billion sellout. You heard me right, with a B, $1 billion sellout. Why and how? Because when you figure out a condo, you figure out land cost, you got to figure out what can I sell it for. Then you work backwards, and there's a certain formula, which is like 10% of your overall development cost is going to be earmarked towards land. So just running some quick numbers, that's how I come up with the $368 million. It's a shocking number. And you say, yeah, but why are you going to build a condo on it? Well, Daniel, think about what you just said. You said there was a plan there in 2016. It was brought forward by Gary Nader. He's an art collector. He's got a bunch of Boteros, a bunch of all kinds of significant art. He wanted to build a Latin American art museum, and he was going to have it funded going forward by selling condos or having hotels or something else above there. So the idea has already been broached. You build this library, and then you have a series of towers. You can put up to 2,500 condos. It's 1,000 units per acre. This is 2.5 acres to 2.6 acres, depending on how you look at it from a survey perspective or other thing. But basically, 2,500 condos can go up on the site. And you know what the kicker is? No parking requirement. In theory, 1.5 parking spaces per unit, 2,500 units. How much does it cost for a parking space? $40,000. If you don't have to pay for parking, that's extra money in the developer's pocket. These are the things that people have to understand. They're looking at it. Don't look at it ideologically. Don't look at it idealistically. Look at it financially. These are big numbers for a college that is serving a purpose of helping everybody who wants the help to go ahead and learn something. Well, I don't get it.
Nor do I. Do I even have to ask if you're buy, sell, or holding that?
Oh, I'm a pound the table, flip that damn thing over. No, sell.
Sell.